Barron's gonna hang out with us. All right, welcome to our actual last installment of Questions with Chiropractors. I have my friend Tim Zook here. He is from Niceville, Florida. And Tim, we're just gonna start out. I want you to tell us why you're a chiropractor.
I knew I was going to be a chiropractor ever since I've been a kid. I'll just tell you the story. I mean, most of this I don't remember, but for obvious reasons. When I was 6 months old, my mom, we were visiting California, and she was holding me. She said she was leaning it up against the fence, and she said I wiggled, and she dropped me on my head, right? And she said I cried and cried for 3 days. She said I cried. They took me to the doctor in California, and they said he's okay. We went back to where we lived in Pennsylvania, and a couple months go by. She said I get really sick, and she took me to the doctor in Pennsylvania. I was diagnosed with strep throat and asthma, and they gave me a penicillin shot. That's what they did back then, and it helped me. And then she said another couple months go by, and it came back. They took me to the doctor. They said it's back. They gave me another penicillin shot. She guesses I had between like 30 and 40 penicillin shots by the time I was 5, right? And the reason I share that is because I still remember when I was 5 going into the clinic for my penicillin shot and what happened. And it was like in rural Pennsylvania, and there was this like open area. We didn't go back to a room or anything. And there was 2 nurses, like almost like a card table, and then a whole bunch of people waiting. And I remember going up to the table and bending over, and they gave me a shot in my butt. They gave me a cookie, right? Chocolate. They were really nice, chocolate chip cookie. And I remember walking out of that office with my mom and my Aunt Esther. And my Aunt Esther said, "Look at his legs." And I'd broken out in hives. And from that point on, I was allergic to penicillin. So I was just like a really sickly child. My mom said she would stay up with me all night sometimes, just pat me on the back. I remember the steam beside the bed, trying to get me to breathe. And she told me recently she thought she was going to lose me a couple times, because I turned purple and I couldn't breathe. And my grandmother, who was old line Mennonite, and they didn't like to take drugs, they still don't, convinced my parents to take me to a chiropractor in Ephrata, Pennsylvania. And my mom was for it, my dad was against it, right?
Yeah.
And finally she won the argument by saying the 2 most important words in our family: "I'll pay." Right?
Yes.
So she paid, and apparently he came to my house the first adjustment, which I don't remember. His name's Dr. Kaiser. Actually, Sigafus knew him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was interesting. So I was back. I could have been, and I was probably an hour away from Sigafus's practice. But anyway, this Dr. Kaiser worked for me. And then my second adjustment, I remember going to his office and hearing all these pops and cracks, and he really laid it into me like big time. Like, I don't adjust kids, and you probably don't either. We're more specific, but he was very non-specific and very just everything moved. And I remember walking out of the office with my mom and saying, "Mom, I can breathe." Right? And that's the last she took me back to Dr. Kaiser. I had 2 adjustments, and my asthma was gone. And from that point forward, I wanted to be a chiropractor because I wanted to help other kids with asthma. So that's a long answer to your short question. So.
No, it's so funny because a lot of those things you said, I pretty much grew up with too, and we're reasonably close to the same age. So they were treating the stuff the same way. And I'm the opposite of that story. We didn't know about chiropractic, and so we just kept going that route for so long. And it's one of the reasons why I love taking care of kids now, because it's, just like with your story, we have a fall or a trip and everybody says okay, and we kiss the boo-boos, but we don't go back and check the spine. So I think that's fantastic. So obviously we are in unusual days lately in the past month and a half or so here, with our all of our virus talk. Tell me why chiropractic is so important now.
Well, it's all about And there's two ways to treat any disease. One's to treat the disease and one's to build up the body.
Yeah.
Anything from a cold to cancer, you can treat it two different ways. Sometimes both are needed, but our job is to build up the body. And we do that by aligning the spine, especially the upper cervical, which has to do with, function of basically everything, because that's where the brainstem is. So you know that, but that's it. Is just to build up the body and get the body in balance and the body as strong as it possibly can be. There's more people coming in lately talking about immune system than ever. I put out a little video on my Facebook about immune system. There's still people coming in from that. I want to make sure my immune system is good, just in case. People you really seem to be getting it. Bye. So.
Yeah, you said something to me when this all started. We were exchanging some texts, and you just said they're all ready to listen, and they just and I think that's one of the things that really spoke to me, really started me on this little journey I've been on in interviewing everybody to get different points of view about chiropractic. And it's so funny because I'm asking everybody the same 5 questions, but everybody's answering the same 5 ways, but in a different way. And I think that's such a great educational tool for us to be able to help everyone just realize the potential that our body has, especially when we're connected. What's your biggest concern these days?
Concern these days about practice or about life, or what's specifically? What do you mean?
Health, chiropractic, community, education.
I don't really have any. I just see a positive, bright future, once we come through this. And I think it could be like a radical shift in just the mentality. But I know with, the situation, for those who don't know, my wife has been dealing with lung and liver cancer for 5 years, and it's supposed to take her in 4 to 6 months, and now it's 5 years. She's never done chemo, and we've used some immunotherapy, which worked for a while, and then it stopped. And anyway, we live this stuff. We live health from the inside out. I check her multiple times every week. We just do the 5 essentials. We do diet. We do adjustments. We do stress relief. We try to get enough sleep. We try to stay happy. That's basically the formula for health.
Right.
I don't even remember what your question. My biggest concern, I think we're going to come out of, but I guess the point was that going through what I'm going through with my wife, and we see how that has just changed us dramatically, both me and her, and even our relationship with God. And when you go through struggles and trials like we have, and now the whole world has gone through that basically to a degree, a lot of goodness can come out of that, and I think depending on the person, see, some people just get angry, and some people get just evolve tremendously in their spirit. So I think it's going to be overall a really beneficial thing for our world.
I agree. I think that people are learning new viewpoints and new ways to see things and expanding their horizon. And I think it's going to be a beautiful outcome on the other end of it. So I just have one last question, and it's really, especially on a day like today, it's Easter Sunday. We are talking about how we're working to get our mission out and get our message out. And I don't know, so many people have said they're working just a little bit harder and really trying to stay focused and having some other things. So it's important for us to take care of ourselves too, mentally, physically. What are you doing to enjoy yourself, and how do you unwind?
Yeah, I like to cycle. I did 40-something miles yesterday, and then I just did it. Like sometimes I go real hard, and yesterday I just took it easy and just enjoyed the ride. That's what I do. But I also enjoy, it's been slower at the office, even though last week it picked up again, seemed to be. But it's kind of nice, just the appreciation that we have for people coming in and the appreciation they have. It seems to be escalated in terms of appreciation levels.
Yeah.
Which is real kind of sweet. And it's nice to have, usually I don't have time to talk to anybody. It's just adjust and see you next time. And it's nice to have time to chat a little bit with people,
Yeah,
It's kind of a
absolutely.
nice break.
Yeah, yeah, that I agree. Those kind of same things have been happening in my office too. It's been nice. Well, Tim, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day here on a holiday and sharing chiropractic with me and everybody who'll get to see this on social media. And as always, you're just such a leader and an inspiration, and I love and appreciate you.
Well, this is a great thing that you're doing. I think it's a great idea, and I'm happy to be here on Easter. I'm glad it worked out this way, Dawn, because,
Yeah, I think
I
so.
screwed it up last time a few days ago, but I'm glad it worked out
Yeah,
that we
I
get
think it
done
was
on
perfect.
Resurrection Sunday. So,
Yeah, great way to start the week. Absolutely. Well,
all
Tim,
right.
take care and have a fantastic week. I love you, buddy.
Blessings.